I'm gonna start kind of a weekly roundup series here where I'm gonna do basically just talking about my week of training, little tidbits here and there, why I chose things, that kind of thing. Maybe we'll relate it to rehab, stuff like that. And then and then we'll kind of do maybe I'll just do like a weekly roundup of like music releases for the week. I might do that because basically I want these long form videos to be encompassing just everything I like to do. And I'm just gonna throw it out there and see if people like it as well. So probably like talking about the weeds of like my week of lifting, music, and then maybe I'll throw in a little bit of gaming. Just quick clips. Maybe I'll just record like a couple, 15 to 30 minutes of like me playing a random game during the week, whatever I kind of choose. Um, and then yeah, we'll just cast that net out there. So, uh, without further ado, let's uh, let's start with the first workout this week. Technically, my weeks are going to be way off going forward because I'm starting a powerlifting program because I'm doing a meet in January. But the program started yesterday. But technically, my workout week started on Tuesday. Basically, like the timing of how I'm going to do these videos. So we're going to be like starting in the middle of the week in terms of the powerlifting program. So I'm, it's going to be a weekly roundup, but it's not technically like the full training week. But who cares? Whatever. Get into the fucking lifts. So I'm just going to go through my VODs here. Hopefully, I'm not doxing myself at all by going through this. I don't think I will be. But yeah, I'm gonna just we're just gonna skim through the VODs and kind of look at everything. We're gonna mute the VODs because we do not need audio. So as you can see, I was working out with my brother. He helped me build this gym, so he clearly gets free reign to come work out on it. This was a full body lift because I was still doing 3 days a week at this point or this week. I'm going to transition to 4 days a week to follow this powerlifting program, so that's going to be a change going forward. But yeah, let's skim through it here. So kind of go through the warm up here. So I think I was deadlifting here. This was like kind of like a deload ish. Oh, you know what? No, this wasn't. This wasn't a deload workout. This was actually I was actually doing a 1 rep max deadlift. I forgot about that. I was trying to figure out my max before I was coming into this program because I've been deadlifting on a stiff bar for so long, or on a deadlift bar for so long. I don't know even what my max is on a stiff bar with no straps. So we're doing that. My brother is doing, I think he was doing 25 reps density sets on bench. So, however many sets it takes to get to 25 reps. I love that as a strength stimulus. Great way to train. But yeah, so we're going to fast forward until my single on the deadlift here. So let's kind of go forward, get to the single here. So this looks like it was a 405 warm-up. See how these looked. Okay, it was just one. Crispy. I think this is that's like 475. I don't think my actual top single is till the next one. Yeah, I think it's in the next video. We'll go back. Here we go. So this is 545 loaded up here. Probably about to hit this. So let's take a look. So lift was moving very fast. Like that was a solid lift all the way up to the end. I lost it to grip. It was all grip. It looks like I'm struggling at the end there. I'm really not. Like it looked like it was a lockout issue. It's not a lockout issue. I rarely have issues locking out. If I can break it off the floor, I'm finishing it. The the issue was grip. Like basically, I hit my thigh and it just came out of my hands essentially. Um, Part of the issue is friction on my thighs, which I corrected in my workouts today, where I was wearing pants, like slippery pants. But the other part is I wasn't using chalk. So I will be using chalk in the future for heavy sets to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But solid single, like I could have had that, but going into this program, I'm just gonna say 535 is my working max, and then we'll go from there. We'll use that as the starting max. I think the program I'm running auto regulates a little bit, so like your max will change throughout the program, your estimated max. So, bro, I'm locked in, locked in. Um, so yeah, full body day. Starting with the leg stuff first. Was just getting a single on the deadlift. Wasn't going to do any volume here. And then now we're warming up for squat. And then brother is on to rows to supplement his upper body day. So warming up for squats, I love the just sitting with a plate, driving the knee over toe, little back of the ankle stretch. That is typically my go-to. I just realized that chat is on screen here. I'm gonna leave that in as a little Easter egg so people can see that. But yeah, this is like because I'm a high bar squatter. I'm very like knee over toe dominant with my squatting. This is a great way to just open up ankles, kind of prepare myself to get into those positions. All right, so we'll get into the squats. I think I was doing pause squats here. I kind of forget, so we'll see. Yeah, I think I was doing 275 for 5 on pause squats. So let's see this. Yeah, these are meant to be very easy. This was, like I said, it was kind of a deload. I technically maxed out my deadlift, but the rest of the workout was supposed to be very easy because I'm coming into this program, my next session. Um, yeah, not much to say about these pause squats. Um, you know, very easy. All right, so I think I did 3 sets there, and then we move on to I think my other accessory movements here. Let's see what we got. I think I had bench. Yeah, I think I did 4 or 5 reps with 225. I think as my working sets. Um, so yeah, my benching now is going to be all paused, obviously, or most of it's going to be paused slightly. As you can see, I'm kind of rushing it a little bit, but just because now that I need to be up to powerlifting comp standards, it's going to have to be that way. So, um, yep, just getting some easy volume in here, nothing crazy. And then I think I probably did some more upper body accessories after this. Yeah, a little bit of rows here. I like to strap in for my rows. I don't want grip to be a limiting factor. Um, Not much to talk about there with the rows. And yeah, that was it. I think I did, yeah, just finish up with more of the rows and then we were done. So that is the full body day done there. Let's go to our first actual meet prep workout. Um, let's turn that volume off. um, so we'll talk about my warm up a little bit here. So I just like to open up my upper back, just for thoracic mobility and stuff. I have like a little like pod thing that I kind of stretch out over top of. Helps me, and I do a little bit of breathing into it to kind of mobilize the ribs a little bit. I have a very stiff upper thoracic area / rib cage, so just opening that up before I lift. And then yeah, and then we move into some more dynamic stuff. Typically, I'm warming up, so I'm doing dead hangs on all of my non-deadlift days, I think, because I just want to work on grip strength a little bit, and throwing it at the beginning of my workout is probably a good way to do that. Um, and also just because it feels good on the shoulders, good stretch for me, helps with my overhead mobility, which is something I've always struggled with. And I like to play around with core in this position as well, where like I'm bringing rib cage down and locking that in, using obliques to kind of bring that down, and then trying to maintain that. It increases the stretch on your pecs and your lats, which is also a benefit as well. So for me, I think if you're doing like an active hang like that, or even a dead hang, to be honest, like I think if you're not engaging obliques and bringing rib cage, stacking rib cage over pelvis, you're missing a huge part of the benefit of the hang, in my opinion. I think it's makes it much more efficient, at just doing more things because you're also getting that extra core work in and the extra stretch. Um, I also like to do so plyometrics. I also like to do Copenhagen adductor work because I squat high bar, and the adductors help you a little bit at the bottom of a high bar squat, just because of leverage for hip extension. I have strained my adductor multiple times high bar squatting. um, so that is something that I almost every lower body day where I'm going to squat, I am doing some kind of Copenhagen plank or dynamic movement, to work my adductors, to at least warm them up, because there's been times where like I literally can't even hold a Copenhagen plank because my adductors are so destroyed. So more preventative than anything. And as you saw, I was doing a little bit of plyometrics here. I'm just trying to keep a very base level, competency and tissue capacity for plyometrics, while I'm training for powerlifting. I think it's great to warm up too. It gets the heart rate up, gets everything loose. Um, so, more stiff plyometrics like that, those double leg pogos. I think I did single leg pogos as well. Always keeping single leg hopping in the program in some degree. It never comes out of the program. I think this is probably one of the most important movements you could get good at, in terms of staying springy, athletic, competent, in any athletic or sporting activities. This is something you should always be doing in some form or another. And then I also like to throw some deep tier plyos, so usually some kind of split squat variation for me. I don't think I do it here. Maybe I did it after I warmed up the squat. No, I didn't. Okay. Well, on most days I do. I think I did it today, so I'll talk about it on the next day. But getting to our top set of squats here, I think it was 290 for 7. These were tough. These were not easy. I think this is 275 in the warm-ups, and then getting into the top sets here. So we'll look at our top set. These were harder than I wanted them to be. Um, they felt harder than I wanted them to be. They don't look that hard, which is fine. I wasn't feeling amazing coming into this workout, and I think that's why they felt so hard. But visually, I mean, maybe RPE 7. Um, Honestly, maybe not even. Maybe, yeah, probably 7 to be honest. Maybe 6. Anyways, good to start a powerlifting uh, program. Great, good intensity. Just felt really hard in the moment. So we'll skip off of squats. So we went into bench after this. This was, I think it was 200 pounds, for a regular pause bench. So we'll load that up. And these were also 7s. Let's go back. This was both of these were 4x7, so lots of volume. It's early stages of a powerlifting program, so just accumulating volume at this point. These also felt pretty hard, but looking at back on video, they're super easy. Um, yeah, maybe RPE 6, maybe even a 5. Pretty solid. Um, and then there was, I forget what was after this. Oh yes, it was overhead press after this. I didn't know what intensity to go to. It didn't really say in the program, so I think I just went to like RPE 8. But we did 135 for sets of 8. Oh yeah, we were doing bent over rows as well. Um, I don't really do bent over rows very much, so just because I like to spare the low back typically when I'm doing rows a little bit more. But that's how they're programmed in this program, so I wanted to follow it as much as I could. So trying out the barbell rows for this program. Let's get into the overhead press here. Nothing really to write home about here. Just easy rep work. I'm kind of shorting the lockout here. I don't love that. I probably should be focusing because I mean, probably the main benefit of doing an overhead press as an accessory as a powerlifter is probably the lockout strength. Um, I guess the delt work, just raw delt work, is nice too. But like, really, I think the benefit you're getting from this is just extra tricep volume. So I probably should be locking out better with those. Probably do that in the future. I think I was going 155 on the bent over rows here, and then strapping up because I don't want grip to be a limiter on these. Because grip can very easily be the limiter on these. I don't. That's not what I'm going for. So strapped up. I think I didn't like those straps. Did I switch them? Maybe it was just the setup. I think I just didn't like how I had it set up. Yeah, that's better. Um, Nothing to really talk about here. Simple barbell rows. Um, think there was anything. Oh yeah, it was back extensions here. I probably messed around with these for like an hour before I got them right. I was doing Zercher holds with these. Um, yeah, let's get back to the beginning. Zercher holds because I think it's to me that's the most efficient way to hold a lot of weight in this position. Um, and yeah, this is just kind of accumulating posterior chain hypertrophy volume. I thought I would be really sore from these today, but I honestly wasn't very sore from these. So um, yeah, it actually worked out really well because obviously I had to deadlift today. Well, if you don't know that, you're about to see it that I'm deadlifting today. So yeah, so that was the workout. Then we go into today. Um, let's mute that. So let's talk about. So I talked about that warm up. Um, where is me doing? Yeah, so here we go. So let's look at our. So how I was saying, I'd like to do deep tier plyos as well. Well, they're not true plyometrics, but deep tier movements in my warm up, just oscillatory, split stance. This is kind of my go-to that I really like. I get a little bit of single leg volume snuck in there. A lot of dynamic for rate of force development, yielding deeper ranges of motion for the knees and the hips. I couldn't recommend them more as a great way to warm up. And you can just like I want every leg day like I'm doing these as my warm up. So it's like I don't even have to think about programming them. It's just I microdose it on every one of my workouts. So it's really great way to sneak it in, especially when you're running like a powerlifting program. Like I don't have the resources available to like be programming like a plyometric session with my power this is just a great way to sneak it in. Doing more frequency, less volume, and then just doing it every workout. All right. So we were deadlifting today. This was 365 for 4 by 7. These went really well. So let's find the first set here. Here we go. These went really well. Slack pull felt really good on these. I think pulling on a deadlift bar for a year has really like it's almost like taking the training wheels off. Like I feel like I'm getting so tight at the bottom, and like it's just my legs are driving everything, which feels great. Because like there's just so much more bar bend on a deadlift bar that like you have to get so tight before you even start pushing with the legs, and like I feel like it actually transfers over quite well to a stiff bar. I think deadlifting on a deadlift bar transfers better to a stiff bar than a stiff bar transfers to a deadlift bar, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, so we did 4x7 of that. And then we moved on to our bench, which was a 3 count pause bench. Um, these are really, I was not expecting to like these as much as I did. Um, it really helped me solidify my bottom position with the really long pauses. Felt like I was way more consistent. My leg drive was better because I had time to think about it. Really underrated. I think long pause bench is super underrated variation now that I've done it. I'm like, wow, I should have been doing this. I should have been doing this more often before. It's really, really good. And using very submaximal weights. So like this is only 175 and my max is probably around 300 right now. So like this is just purely technique work, but man, it felt great. So really, really happy with this variation being in the program. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at. So this was a 3x5, and then we will move into the squats, which were supposed to be pause front squats or SSB. I'm swapping it out for Zercher because I love Zercher squats, and I think they accomplish a very similar thing to both of those movements. I did 295 for 5. And then I did 225 for the pause when I actually looked at the program and figured out that it's actually supposed to be pause squats. So, so here is the 225 or 295 set of 5. Pretty happy with it. A little bit of forward trunk lean, not the end of the world. I'm trying to stay really upright with these if I can, just because it's going to transfer over to my squat better, and I think it fits that slot. Like if this is replacing a front squat, I can't do like the super like leaned over, because like you can lean over quite a bit with the Zercher squat if you wanted to, but I'm trying to stay super upright with these. And then we'll go to the pause set, and then that's just me setting up my rows after that. We'll talk about the rows in a second. So yeah, here's the pause Zerchers. These felt amazing. Low key, this might be the best pause squat variation. It feels so good to get in the bottom position holding in a Zercher. Just feels natural, feels very comfortable. Like the support of your forearms kind of digging into your thighs. It feels incredible. I'm a big fan of Zerchers. I went super easy on this set purposely because I unintentionally did not do pause squats on the first 2 sets, and I did not want the last set to be like super fatiguing because I already did too much probably. So just auto regulating a little bit there. I'll go harder on these in the coming weeks for this next block. And then we just set up rows here. It's hard to see. Sets over there. Hold on. So I am mimicking my bench grip width, and I'm trying to pull and hit the same spot as to where I hit on my bench. Trying not to use a whole lot of momentum. So really just kind of position specific rowing to supplement bench as an accessory more so than just like back hypertrophy. And yeah, that is the workouts for the week. If anybody has any questions about anything, please comment them. I will reply to them and give you detailed explanations for anything you want. Yeah, this is so I think this will be the lifting part of the video, and then I will do a quick overview of music that was released this week. So I think I'll just transition right into it. I'll probably just pull up my Spotify. So we'll go here and just go right into the Spotify here. So these are my playlists. Go find me on Spotify if you want to get access to these playlists. I think it's just Jelly on. I think it's just Jelly. I don't want to click on my profile because I think it is going to dox me. Honestly, I probably shouldn't even care, but okay, no, it's just Jelly. Okay, I think I did that purposely. Yeah, find me on Spotify to get access to some of these playlists. I have so many playlists, but there's a couple that are like publicly accessible. I think there's a few. I don't know. I have a bunch of playlists on there. Oh, by me. Here we go. Yeah, I think all of these are available for people to access. I'm beginning. I need to listen to more breakcore. I like breakcore a lot, or drum and bass, jungle music. That style of electronic music is really the only electronic music I like. I love when heavy bands mix it in as well. Um, but sorry, let's go over music releases for this week. For anybody that doesn't know, I love all kinds of heavy music. I love lots of rock, indie rock, alternative. Um, Pretty much, I like all music to some degree. There's certain genres that I don't love. Not a big country fan. I don't love typical pop music. I like I do like pop influences in like heavier music. Um, but in general, like I'm leaning towards most genres of heavy music I like, and then I like very much like alternative and indie rock. That's typically where I'm sitting. I grew up listening to punk, ska, that kind of stuff, but I love music, so that is why I want to talk about it. So I'm just going to go to the releases on Spotify and just kind of scroll through them here and talk about them a little bit. Um, Post Heaven. I just got introduced to these people maybe like 2 weeks ago, and then they dropped an EP. So fucking awesome. So I immediately get to consume. Um, they are incredible. Very adjacent to Fleshwater, if you're familiar with that band. Definitely like metalcore, hardcore to some degree, with like little sprinkling of electronic music influence, drum and bass, and then I think just kind of rock alternative in general. Super super good. This EP was great. Very dynamic. The first song's very soft, very ethereal. Then it builds into like the heavier songs. These are very heavy, super catchy guitar riffs. I can't recommend this band more. They are on the come up. They have very little music so far. They have like two EPs essentially. Um, Look out for them in the heavy music scene. They are on the come up. Um, Totoro. I've been waiting for this album for so long. They're goated. Probably my favorite instrumental, like rock. I think it is these three albums. These are the this is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Sorry, backwards. uh, Incredible, just absolutely incredible. They somehow managed to iterate and make it better every time around. I do think I like Home Alone a little bit better than Come to Mexico, to be honest. But I literally think Sofa So Good is taken to another level. I think it's their best work. It's so good. It's so good. So I would highly recommend that. Phanogram, kind of a pop. Um, I don't know if I'd call it indie rock. It's kind of just like pop rock. Um, but very good instrumentals. It's a duo. It's the singer, and then her, I think it's her husband, is the drummer and the instrumentalist. He is super talented instrumentalist. You could just tell it's like it just sounds like pop music that was made by somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing when it comes to the instrumental side of it. It's very good. Yeah, this is. I think this must be like a B side from their most recent album. But let me look. Yeah, I think it's just a B side from this album. But man, this album. I mean, if you haven't listened to Memory of a Day, very very good album. Uh, Murals. So they dropped their. This is not their debut single, but it's their debut single with the current lineup, I believe. Um, This is the guitarist from Hail the Sun, if you're familiar with that swancore slash post hardcore band. Um, and then I don't know the other members. Um, they might be part of other bands that I'm familiar with. Yeah, I'm not sure. They might be involved in other bands that I've known. But it was okay. It wasn't great. It was just okay. I think they're gearing up for an album here. These other songs were very good, especially the song with Peter from Keonashi, Philly-based hardcore. Shout out, really good. These were all really good. This is Garrett from Silent Planet. If you're a Silent Planet fan, shout out metalcore. Um, they are promising. They're very promising. I didn't love the single this week. It was just okay. Um, but yeah, Mick Gordon dropped a song from whatever the heck this is. I don't know what it is. It's okay. Um, Frontier, Frontierer. I always struggle to pronounce this band. Um, did a redo, so like a new production of an old song from their Orange album. Uh, I don't know if they're doing the whole album. I think they might be. Um, I really liked it. The drums were so much better in this mix, like way better than the original mix. But I still think I prefer the original mix because the vocals are kind of drowned out in this. I didn't like that too much. Um, so I think it was like a net neutral. Like some of it was better, some of it was worse in the way they produced it and mixed it. So I don't know. We'll see how the rest of it pans out if they are doing anything more. I don't know. I didn't like this. I'm a fan of Signs of the Swarm. I don't know this other band, Mental Cruelty. I didn't like this. This was a really good collaboration. I'm not familiar with this band, Exit Wounds, but they had Left to Suffer feature on there. Left to Suffer is one of my favorite deathcore bands. They're definitely up there for me. So this was a good feature, decent song. Um, Petrichor from Heaven's Gate. So Heaven's Gate is kind of like a Buster Core band, kind of ex Dealer. If you're familiar with Dealer, kind of like pissed core. Um, they always have like a token slow song on all of their releases, and this is that. This is definitely like their slow song for what I believe. I think this is an album. It might be an EP actually. I'm not sure. Does it say what their upcoming releases are going to be? It doesn't. I'm not sure if this is going to be an album or an EP because I think it's just these three songs. Um, I'm not sure. Anyways, great band, insanely good discography. Eric from Loathe has produced some of their drums, I think. Um, so like, and like I said, they're kind of a Buster port. Like Buster Odelholm has done some production for them. Great band, really good slow song. Yeah. Soul Blind, kind of like Zoomer grunge. I'm not liking their new singles. I'm sorry, I don't like them. They're just okay. It just sounds more generic grunge to me. Whereas I felt like they were kind of leaning in the shoegaze side. It was still grungy, but very shoegazy more so. I kind of like their older sound better, so we'll see when this album releases what it sounds like for the rest of the songs. But haven't been super impressed so far. Do not mind this. I have Toby Fox in my follows because I love the Undertale soundtrack. Sue me. I think Undertale has insanely good music, so I didn't listen to this and I don't care about this. Tame Impala. Love Tame Impala's old stuff. New stuff is not my cup of tea. I'm not going to talk about it very much. I think we're getting over the week here. Yeah. Chat File's new album. Can't wait for that. Profiler. Kind of like a newer new metal band that's coming through. I'm pretty hyped for whatever they're going to release. Yeah. I think that's all. I think that's all we'll talk about for today. So that's the musical roundup. So I will probably try to tack on some kind of gaming video onto this, probably towards the end. That's probably how I'll do it. Is like lifting. Let me talk about music, and then if I choose to put gaming into the video, I'll just tack it on the end. So, because I think I'm just gonna like record it at some point during the week whenever I'm gaming. I'll just be like, just turn on my recording software and just take a quick recording of whatever I'm playing real quick. And then yeah, I think that'll be good. So I've literally only been playing Hollow Knight Silk Song recently. So if there is anything on the end of this, it's probably going to be Hollow Knight Silk Song. So look out for that. If not, thank you for watching. More lifting, music, and video game long form content to come. So look out for that. All right. Well, see you later. God damn it!